This is the ClarkCast podcast on clarkcast.com.
Where Congress isn't acting, I'll act on my own to put opportunity within reach for anyone who's willing to work for it.
It just doesn't get old. No, I'm dead serious on that. It really just does not get old. Oh man, the pickings are good. Hi there, my name is Matt Clark, coming at you live from the studios of WAAM here in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. And because I'm live and because I'm broadcasting from WAAM, you, the listener, you have this great opportunity to pick up your phone and dial 734-822-1600 and speak to yours truly on the air. I would say it's an honor, but that would be egotistical, and, well, I'm not that big-headed, but I try to be a little tiny bit humble, just a little bit humble. You know, I like to have this format where when my theme song rolls around, I pick something to spotlight, some sort of audio soundbite, something that I could say, yeah, this is the first thing we're going to talk about. Just to give you a little bit of an insight, a little bit of an indication of what's going on. That Obama piece right there, it's not shocking. It's just, I really don't know how to describe this. I want to take a step back, and I really want to talk about a few things right here. I actually just got off a plane just a couple days ago from Orlando, Florida. I ran a marathon. It's somewhat of a tradition now that I run the Walt Disney World Marathon every year, and the family comes down. It's a family trip, and it's a lot of fun. And I really got to think about a lot, and because I had several hours to kill on my run. You get some time, you get some alone time to really just think about life. And for anybody who actually runs out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say, you have time to think. Because all the running that you have to do in order to train for it, in order to prepare for it, if you're running a race like a marathon, a half marathon, or even a 10K of some sort of long distance, when you're training for this stuff, man, you have time, and you have time to kill. I mean, a marathon itself is 26.2 miles, and it's just, it's the first 0.2 are easy. It's the last 26 that gets you. Don't have that queued up. Wasn't planning on making that bad joke. But when you start preparing and you start running and training for a race like this, you really do have time to think about life. What's going on? I mean, how can I make myself a better person? How can I do things in my business better? Or what can I do for my radio show to make it better? And these are the things that I really think about. When I was down running my marathon, that was a big topic at hand. What is really wrong with this country? If you had to boil it down, if you had to really nail something down, no, it's not Obamacare. Obamacare is not the problem with the country. Obamacare is a byproduct of what's wrong with this country. How do we fix this country? What is really going on? And because I was in the happiest place on earth, Walt Disney World, as they like to brand themselves, it really put a lot of things into perspective. For those of you that listen to me a lot, or even just a little, you know I'm a big fan of Disney. Not only Disney, the company, but Walt Disney, the man specifically. If you get a moment, read his biography by Neil Gabler, I do believe. I'm only about halfway through it. I usually read, a handful of books at once when I have time to read. And this really puts it into perspective of not only Walt Disney, the man, but America. What is America? Why was Walt Disney, the man, able to succeed? Why was the Walt Disney Company able to build the empire that it has today? There's a lot to be critical, by the way, of the Walt Disney Company today. We see Michelle Obama and getting cozy with Bob Iger, I do believe, is the CEO of Walt Disney right now. You see Michelle Obama and other ilk of the Obama administration getting cozy with the Disney Company, and this is just one example of many. But why did Walt Disney, the man, become successful? Was it his willpower? Yes. Was it his drive? Yes. Was it his ability to fail and then learn from those mistakes, pick himself up? And I know it's cliche to say, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, dust yourself off, and move forward. I know that's cliche to say. I know, I get it. But that's what he did. If you know his biography, if you've read about the man, he failed over and over and over and over again. Keep in mind, this is during a time, especially during the 20s, where animation was kind of an obscure, weird thing. Okay, you want to animate? Okay, sure, go ahead. Okay, we'll let you be cute. That's cute. Okay, yeah, good luck. And he kept failing over and over and over and over again. Think about that for a moment. And I want anybody out there who is an advocate of government programs, the big welfare state that we have now. We need to have government in order for a prosperous society. If we don't have unemployment, if we don't have food stamps, if we don't have this, if you're one of those people, heed my message that I'm saying right now. take a moment to really absorb what I'm saying. Use Walt Disney as a good case study. Walt Disney, the man. How was he able to succeed? How was he able to create Walt Disney World? Now, I know he died right before Walt Disney World opened. I'm talking in the broader sense right now. And let me also bring back the opening question that I posed. What is wrong with America right now? Is it the willpower or the lack of willpower that people have? Yeah. Is that a byproduct of the problem that America faces? I'm really just trying to whittle this down to just one phrase. If you could put it on a bumper sticker, what is wrong with the United States of America right now? And like I said, you can't say Obamacare. Obamacare is not the problem with the United States of America right now. You cannot say that. It is a byproduct of what's wrong with the United States of America right now. What is wrong? And you can't say, Obama or the Democrats or the rhinos or the progressives. Those, I would say, are byproducts. Maybe even with all in reference to what I just mentioned, maybe a lot of those are some of the sources of what's wrong with America right now. And this is really what I'm thinking about as I'm running my marathon, because again, it's 26.2 miles. I finished, by the way. I shaved 3 minutes off my time last year. Woohoo. Don't ask me what my time was. I finished. Anybody out there who's a true marathoner or anybody out there who is a true runner, they'll say, did you finish? They want to ask you, what's your time? Oh, what time did you finish? I just finished. Let's just leave it at that. Anybody out there who's a true runner knows exactly what I am talking about. But going back to the topic at hand, let me play that once more because I'm not shocked by this. I'm really not.
Where Congress isn't acting, I'll act on my own to put opportunity within reach for anyone who's willing to work for it.
I will act on my own. Screw Congress. They're just dragging their feet. Screw them. We can't act as Americans. We can't move the ball forward down the field. Can't do it. Got to do it on our own. And by the way, when I say I'm not shocked by this is not an isolated incident. And by the way, this is also not an issue to Barack Hussein Obama. I mean, this is just what the executive branch has become. Even under George W. Bush, under Bill Clinton, under George H.W. Bush, yeah, sure. And, I mean, this is not the first time he said something like this either. I mean, I just threw a couple sound bites together that I've collected over the past few years.
When Congress refuses to act, and as a result, hurts our economy and puts our people at risk, then I have an obligation as president to do what I can without them.
Obligation,
With or without Congress, I'm going to keep at it.
Yeah, you do that.
But it'd be a lot easier if Congress helped. For those of you who follow politics in Washington, here's the best news. None of this requires an act of Congress.
We're not going to wait for Congress. So my instruction to Jeff and Gene and Valerie and all the advisors who are sitting around the table is scour this report.
Scour it.
Identify all those areas in which we can act administratively without additional congressional authorization and just get it done.
Just get it done. Just do it. I know what the critics of what I'm saying right now will say. Well, come on. I mean, he has the power of the executive order. Oh, come on. He has the power of the pen. I was gone, as I just mentioned, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, whatever, this past week. So I'm a little bit slow on the news. That's why you're not hearing me really start out with, did you hear what happened this past week? Oh my gosh, X, Y, B, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. All this stuff happened. Let's talk about it on the radio. Not doing that right now. Mainly because, well, I don't know what happened this past week. I was on vacation. But I'm really taking a step back, as I think we all should, to really ask the question, what is wrong with the United States right now? If you had to say it in one phrase, 734-822-1600, I will gladly allow you to state that on the air. In one phrase, what is wrong with the United States of America? Let me again say, you cannot say Obamacare. Obamacare is not what's wrong with the United States of America. It's not. Sorry, it's not. You can complain about it, you can critique it, you can criticize it, but it's not the thing that is wrong with the United States of America. It is a byproduct. What is wrong with the United States of America? To the progressives out there, of course, they'll say, well, this is great. You could sign up. No pre-existing conditions, or even if you have pre-existing conditions, it doesn't matter. You are covered. Woohoo! That's what the progressives will say. Or, it's because we have a 21st century progressive, not a regressive, but a progressive government, a progressive federal government that goes beyond the Constitution. We have public schools. We have public this. We have these programs. We have those programs. This is what we have. That's the utopia that we say. Or rather, not we, not me, but they say. What is wrong with the United States of America? Again, when you hear stuff like this.
Where Congress isn't acting, I'll act on my own to put opportunity within reach for anyone who's willing to work for it.
Do you think those are related? Me playing that audio soundbite, me talking about Walt Disney the man, me even just talking about Obamacare? Or do you think I'm off base? Well, I've only begun to round and outline this circle here because I'm going to bring this into a full circle for you to understand. And when we come back from the break, I want to continue this discussion. If you want to be part of the program, I'm asking you the question, what is wrong with America in one phrase? How do you change it? 734-822-1600.
This is the Clarkcast with Matt Clark.
Does your business's website stand out? Does it catch an eye or two? At Waypoint Arts, we design and develop each project from scratch with an original and unique flair. If you're looking for a web design service that specializes in delivering the wow effect to your guests, then let us get started on your project today. Need a design for a poster or flyer? We can help. Visit us online at waypointarts.com or drop us a line at 855-WAY-ARTS.
Deep Drill & Machine can handle your drilling needs. Working with a wide variety of metals, Deep Drill & Machine has the experience with newly developed materials as well, with large handling capabilities and the expertise to get the job done. Feed screws, spindles, and cooling plates are just some of the products they drill, with the ability to drill diameters ranging from 1/8 of an inch up to 4.5 inches. Their facility is over 7,000 square feet, set up to effectively handle and produce the results their customers require. From automotive to forging, tool and die to machine repair, Deep Drill & Machine services many industries, and they can service yours. For more information, visit them online at www.deepdrillmachine.com or call them at 313-295-3357. That's 313-295-3357. 313-295-3357. And again, online at www.deepdrillmachine.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Matt Clark. This is the Clarkcast.
I can't. Richard Simmons, really, in a pro-Obamacare video? I just can't. I can't wrap my head around this. I might spare you from playing that audio. Then again, I might not. Welcome back to it. My name is Matt Clark. This is the Clarkcast. If you want to hit me up behind the scenes, Matt with 2 T's at clarkcast.com. Special live edition of the radio program right now. You can call me on air at 734-822-1600. Tweet me, Facebook, all that other stuff. You know what it is. Just do it. Just do it. Do it for the children. Just do it for the children. I asked the question, and I want to entertain calls. What is wrong with America? Yeah, that may seem doom and gloom, and glass is not even half full. Glass is half empty, not even half empty. But you can't say Obamacare. And when we start heading into this election season right now, that's all I hear is Obamacare this, Obamacare that, Obamacare, Obamacare, Obamacare. Yeah, but that's not the problem. It's not the problem with America. It's a byproduct. It's a byproduct. And I also said, I was telling you this story, that just a couple days ago, I was running my marathon down in Walt Disney World, and I'm a big fan of Walt Disney, the man, because I believe he is a good, and this is going to sound cliche to many, but that's okay. I believe he's a good case study for the American dream, the success of what can happen when you are able to, well, to dream big and dare to fail. Let me go to the phones. Welcome Ben. Hey, Ben. Long time no speak, man. How's it going?
How you doing, Mr. Clark?
Doing well, sir. What's up?
Well, first, before I get into that, one key thing with Walt Disney's success is he didn't go to college.
The one thing that they teach you in college now is you have to get the degree, you have to climb this specific ladder that we tell you to climb, and you have to learn what we tell you to learn. Do not think outside the box, Ben. That's college.
Exactly. What I think is what's killing America the most is lack of human scale and representation. And if I can explain further, elaborate,
sure.
If you look at, we're now the 12th freest country. A year ago, we were the 10th freest, and we're going to keep losing that spot.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top 10 or 11 countries ahead of us, they're all small in population size, and the small minority of the thinking can influence government and restrict its negative effects on the majority, where we can't do that here.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Do you recall was Hong Kong listed on that list?
Hong Kong is number 1.
That's what I thought. Look, it comes down to, and I know you agree with this because we've had these conversations before, the size of government is inversely proportional to your freedoms. And now we're starting to dabble a little bit closer to what is wrong with America right now. When you start increasing the size of government, you start adding more regulations, your freedoms are going to go down. What you can do is dwindling. You're more restricted to, again, you mentioned college. We will tell you exactly what you should do, have to do, where you should go, all of the above. And that really is starting to get closer and closer to what we're talking about here. Appreciate the call there, Ben. Let me move on to the next line. John, welcome, sir. How are you?
Fine.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Excellent. Well, what's up?
I believe one of the biggest problems is lack of adherence to the Constitution and the media that is in bed with big government and supporting the lie.
Well,
propaganda.
I think you're right. And, I also asked the question, and I appreciate that. When I played this audio soundbite,
where Congress isn't acting, I'll act on my own to put opportunity within reach for anyone who's willing to work for it.
And right after I played that audio soundbite there, John, I asked, how does that play into the whole topic at hand of what is wrong with this country? And you just nailed it. So I appreciate the phone call there. Let me move on to Patricia. Hi, welcome. You're on the air.
Hi, Matt. My thought is no one takes responsibility for their actions or anything else. They always think it's up to someone else. And if everyone took care of themselves and had a job, contributed, paid their taxes, took care of other people that needed help, we would be in a lot better shape as a country.
You're exactly right. It comes down to what is charity. I like to be charitable when I can with the means that I have. I don't believe government should be charitable. It comes down to this. I mean, Patricia, when was the last time somebody held open a door for you when you walked in and out of a store?
Just the other day, and believe it or not, it was a female, but I've also had males do it. So in the area I'm from, they do that type of thing.
Do you understand where I'm going with that question, though?
All right, then maybe you should restate it.
No, it's fine. That's fine. I'm just seeing if you can pick my brain a little bit here. When was the last time, and I'm speaking a little bit more broadly, that somebody held open a door, or you held open a door, and a simple pleasantry was exchanged? Thank you very much, or how are you doing? Or, you have some other case in point where we had somebody just the other day when we had that polar vortex that brought down all of that snow, stuck out in front of the radio station here. And I helped somebody out. Not that I'm trying to sound like a hero or anything like that, but I also had another gentleman help this young lady get stuck out of the car. She was in her car. She was stuck in the snow. And it was because it was just people, average people helping one another without asking for some sort of reward in return, without trying to seek anything other than just the personal satisfaction that I helped somebody. And that's what this society is about. We didn't need FEMA to come in. We didn't need some other government entity to come in and help that individual. It was just on a personal level. You help people. You hold doors open for people. You make sure you say thank you and please and yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, or thank you. It's just all of the above. Again, what is wrong with America right now? I asked for one simple phrase. There's many that have been out here already. Let me go to Jenny. Jenny, welcome.
Hey, Matt. It's really nice to talk to you.
No, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, I just have an idea. My biggest problems with America is socialism, which is finally full blown, and also the devaluating of morals.
Well, I think those go hand in hand, but
they do.
They're not, they're not synonymous, but they definitely go hand in hand. And with the lack of morals in society, I think that also plays into my point that when was the last time somebody just held a door open for you, or vice versa, and you said thank you, they said you're welcome, or hey, how you doing today, sir? Or when you had a car not try to cut you off. I had a guy the other day. I was doing the speed limit down a road, and he was just on my butt the whole time, and then honking his horn at me. I mean.
Even can I just say one more thing,
yes,
and then I'll go?
Jenny, yes, you can say one more thing.
I'm visually impaired, okay? I can't see at all. And even back in the 70s, when I was going to college, the one place I went, when I first got there, I would come up to a door to go into a building, and the person would appear to open it, and they would slam it in me.
No.
And I finally got so that, very quickly, by the way, I got so that I would go up and open the doors. And I would hold it for the people behind me.
Well, God bless you for that. And yeah, go ahead.
I couldn't deal with it. Why do people slam the door in your butt?
I don't know. I really don't know. The degradation of the morals in society, or insert, I think it's a handbag full of various reasons for that. Just really is all of the above. What is wrong with America? 734-822-1600. I was telling the story of Walt Disney. I will return back to that after the bottom of the hour here and really round it out in my own personal view, as well as take some more phone calls here. But I think when you start hearing Obamacare, or any sort of issue that we talk about, it's really starting to rub me the wrong way and get to me, because it's not Obamacare that's wrong with America right now. You could say Obamacare is the reason why we're losing jobs, the reason why the economy's not getting better, the reason why, X, Y, Z. That is something that you actually can say. But how do we fix the country? One of the things that I say on this program is saving the republic one broadcast at a time. Something I like to say because it's not only a fun saying, a bumper sticker slogan, as somebody has told me before, but it's really why I do what I do here on the radio, because I do believe in saving the republic. But what does it mean to save the republic? What do we have to do in order to bring this country back into the place where the next Walt Disney could exist? The next person could be what they want to be, as long as they dream big and dare to fail. Back in a moment.
Stay tuned for more of the Clarkcast with Matt Clark.
Does your business's website stand out? Does it catch an eye or two? At Waypoint Arts, we design and develop each project from scratch with an original and unique flair. If you're looking for a web design service that specializes in delivering the wow effect to your guests, then let us get started on your project today. Need a design for a poster or flyer? We can help. Visit us online at waypointarts.com or drop us a line at 855-WAY-ARTS.
Saving the Republic, one broadcast at a time. Matt Clark. This is the Clarkcast.
Well, I can tell I really haven't missed much this week. Just got back from Florida from a quick vacation to do my annual marathon, and I'm still somewhat trying to catch up with the news. ABC came out with 50 ways to celebrate Michelle Obama's birthday. Oh, good grief. What is... Dance to Beyonce, eat your vegetables, move into a massive new house with your family, and invite your mother to move in too. Are you able to do that? I mean, I really am not going to get into this article here, but it seems a little elitist there. Now, then again, I could be taking the whole thing out of context, but let's talk about something that is completely in context. I was asking the question all hour so far, how do we save America? What is wrong with America, first and foremost? And I've been really pounding the Obamacare drum. You cannot say Obamacare is what's wrong with America. And, you can't just say as a politician, Terry Linland, that Obamacare is the issue. Because I really don't think it is the issue. It is a big issue, granted. I understand that. It's a huge issue because it has everything to do with expanding the powers of the federal government and minimizing your personal freedom. But what is the problem? What is mainly wrong with America? If you had to whittle it down, boil it down, just condense it into a phrase or two, please call me up, 734-822-1600. I am live right now. I would love to hear what you have to say. Let me go ahead and bring up Dennis. Dennis, you can also work out your arms. You can make the cover of Vogue or call the President Barack if you want to celebrate Michelle's birthday. Welcome, sir.
Well, hi, how you doing?
Doing well.
I actually, I don't have the answer to the question of what's wrong with America. I have a idea, and I think it boils down to loss of civic virtue. And I was actually, I finished reading Edward Gibbon's History of the Fall of the Roman Empire, and I thought it was a little scary, the correlation between what happened there with the loss of civic virtue and what's happening with America. Basically, I kind of feel that people don't really care about what's going on in the government. Obviously, there are people, because you have WAAM Talk 1600 and a lot of listeners, but when I kind of get out of that circle and into the masses, even my family in mid-Michigan, people just don't seem to really be engaged or really don't care. And I kind of think it goes back to a loss of civic virtue, that taking responsibility for your government. And I kind of feel that our founders gave us that responsibility, and I don't know if it's being executed.
I think you're absolutely right. The only part that I may separate from you, and this is splitting hairs and maybe taking what you said a little out of context, is I'm not sure whether they don't care necessarily.
Sure.
Indifference or ignorance, which aren't excuses, may not necessarily mean they don't care. Just trying to talk about what you just said. I mean, if you start talking about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire as it compares to the United States of America, oh my gosh, good grief, Dennis. But I get it.
I know.
I get it. But here's the thing. And, I had my buddy Doc Thompson, who's on the Blaze Radio Network. I had him in studio last month, and we started talking about this very issue. When I do this radio show, or what you just said, I mean, this is the equivalent of, metaphorically speaking, graduate level work. And when you start talking about graduate level work to somebody who's still trying to understand the elementary level of what's going on in the country, when you're still trying to get beyond but pre-existing conditions are covered. Oh, we want to cover. Well, wait, hold on. It's really hard to break down the barriers and really just start giving people the truth. And the most important part, having them think for themselves. I don't think anything that you said there is incorrect by any. Please don't take it that way. I think you're absolutely correct. But it's just getting those barriers down, getting through that first wall there to really start educating the masses. And that's where people, I think they do still care. But you have to convince them that it's really worth fighting for. To say somebody doesn't care, and again, Dennis, that's not, I'm moving away from your call. I'm not directing this at you because I don't think this is what you were saying. But just to say that America doesn't care, or America is just so, they don't care as long as they, have, X, Y, and Z in their life, I don't know. Ignorance, you can say, is probably the major driving force. But when you start seeing people lose their healthcare coverage, for example, oddly enough, they start caring. It's interesting how it works when it starts directly impacting them. We're talking about stuff that is directly impacting us, but we may not see the full brunt, the full weight of what's going on until 2, 3, 4 years down, or maybe even 2, 3, 4 months down. So we're able to say we care now because we know this is going to drastically impact us in the very near future. Whereas a lot of people, and I use the healthcare problem as an analogy, oh yeah, let's start caring when we lose our healthcare coverage. Very, very, Very interesting. I had my buddy Joshua Charles chime in on Twitter. Repentance, love God, love neighbor. That is all spiritual revival is. He's, by the way, the co-author of Common Sense with Glenn Beck. Absolutely right. But I really don't think there's one answer to what is wrong with America. I think there's one answer to how do we fix America, but I don't know about what's wrong with America. Let me see what Joseph has to say. Welcome, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. A fellow libertarian. I'm happy to be on the show. But as I mentioned to the previous guy, he said, I said, it's more about the lobbyists. I was speaking to a guy several months back, and he said, you can literally buy your own piece of democracy anymore. And like with Obamacare, it's there to service the very few amount of Americans who don't have health insurance. And you get, these lobbyists coming in, or just the socialists in general. They all want to help these small groups of people. There's no laws in the federal government that are there to service the mass of the people. And that's what I think the problem is that no law is there to help America in general, as in the general welfare clause, which I formally support a minimum income because that is as general as it gets. And, that's the problem. Everything's too specific anymore. That's why we need more free market. We need more general policy.
Well, it goes back to what I said as well. The size of government is inversely proportional to your freedom. When you start expanding the size of government, and, you said Obamacare is designed, at least I would say on the outside, it's more of a facade, but let's, for all intents and purposes, let's just keep the spotlight on that.
Yeah.
Obamacare was designed to help the small handful of people while having, the masses suffer or, have to pay for that. And when I say suffer, I can just, visualize the emails coming in. Oh, so we want the small handful of people to suffer. No, as Joseph just said, there are free market solutions in order to help those out. Not to mention, we the people can help we the people out. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. When was the last time somebody held open a door for you and actually said thank you in return, or vice versa? We need to return back to a place where we understand that we the people run the government, and we the people are the ones that should be helping one another out without the federal government telling us we have to. Would you agree with that?
I definitely agree. I believe in the power of government, but its efficacy is terrible. It can't get something done because the people are like water, and the government is like a solid mass. It's not going to change or adapt to anything. While water or gases, for that matter, I'm an engineer or going for an engineering degree. They change and can adapt very easily and very quickly to things. You see the markets jump up and down all the time if the weather changes. But the government doesn't flinch if taxes go up and people start complaining. The government is very slow moving and it does not change. That's why it has to cater to these small groups in order to stay functioning.
Then you have to start educating people that, sometimes you realize if you study the Laffer curve, for example, if you lower taxes, the government might get more revenue. It's interesting how that one. It's an educational process. I would toss that into the how do we fix the country category. But in terms of what's wrong with the country, I think we're on the same page on that one. I appreciate the phone call there, sir. It's a loaded question, and as you can hear, if you've been listening from the beginning of the program, it's ginning up a lot of emotions here. A lot of people are calling in, wanting to give their opinion on what is wrong with the country in just a phrase or two. 734-822-1600. This is a live broadcast of the Clarkcast radio program, heard here on WAAM Radio. And this was really, and I want to tie this back into my first segment here. This was created, or at least this idea for this particular topic, was created when I was running my marathon, 26.2 miles last Sunday. Finished, by the way, 3 minutes better than my previous time. I was about to say 3 miles better, but that wouldn't make sense. But you finish marathon in 23.2 miles? It doesn't work like that. But the point is, I was thinking Walt Disney, the man, one of my heroes, just because I've researched the man, I've read about him, and I've seen his work. I mean, we've all seen his work. Everybody here listening to me has seen some sort of Disney cartoon, Disney movie, something that Walt Disney, the man, has touched, probably directly. Even after the man's death, he was still directly inspiring stuff from the grave. We've all experienced that in one way, shape, or form. And so the question that I have for you is, how was that able to be? What made Walt Disney be Walt Disney? What made him And it wasn't government handouts. It wasn't government regulation. Actually, it's the opposite. It wasn't government grants. It wasn't, a cylindrous style, here you go, here's a couple $100 million just to do whatever you want. That's not what it was. It was pure drive, personal goals, having people that you have close to you helping along the way that you trust, that you believe in, and that they believe that they could accomplish things. That's what the United States of America is about. When you think the American dream, what do you think of? When I say the American dream, yes, it's the radio show that is on right before me. But when I say the American dream, what is the American dream? It's the ability to fail, learn from your lessons, learn from your mistakes, pick yourself. I'm going to use the damn cliche. Pick yourselves up, buy your bootstraps, dust yourself off, and try again. And guess what? It may not work again. It may not work the second time. It may not work the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth time. But that's your ability. That is your freedom to keep trying over and over and over again. You change something up the next time to try to figure out where you went wrong. You try to change something up. You try to motivate yourself to continue to keep going at it more and more and more because I believe in myself and I believe that this can be done. That is the American dream. That is what America used to be about. I still hope that it is. Let me go to line 1. Susan, welcome.
Hi, Matt. I have a suggestion that's maybe off in a little bit different direction from where you guys are going, although I completely agree with the American dream, freedom to fail. Too large a government takes away freedom. But my thought is that people have become convinced that wanting to do the right thing is as good as actually doing the right thing. And so they're perfectly happy to have the government take lots of money because the government promises it'll cure poverty, even though after the last 30 years and several trillions of dollars, they haven't cured poverty. But if you say, when people say, well, no more money for welfare programs, the argument comes back, well, you hate people. Yeah. And that's an effective argument because people want to do the right thing and they think the government can do the right thing. They just don't realize that that's not the same thing as actually doing the right thing. That's my thought.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, you're battling against the Saul Alinsky tactics, and even that's somewhat sounding cliche for those, the uninitiated, that don't know what I'm talking about there. Yeah, it's easy to say, like gun control, for example. We must do this for the children. You have to do it for the children, and people want to be able to say, well, I did something for the children, so therefore I support this. Well, what are you really doing? Think about this. Put aside the emotion of whatever we're talking about, whether we're talking about gun control, whether we're talking about healthcare, making sure that those who do not have insurance or those with pre-existing conditions are covered and blah, 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 blah. Put aside the emotion for a moment. Cue in the logic. How do we actually achieve more healthcare for all? Is it through the government? And why don't you ask all the people at the end of last year who lost their healthcare insurance that question? Is it through a more free market-driven society where we, the people, where people like me, where we have more power to control our own personal destiny in terms of health savings accounts, being able to buy healthcare insurance across state lines? Hello, that should have been an obvious one. We, the people. I know a lot of this is sounding cliche, especially to the uninitiated or to those that don't believe in what we're talking about here. But that's where the educational front comes into play. That's where you come into play. It's about breaking down those first barriers to someone's, I would say, closed-mindedness, to somebody's intolerance, and be able to argue and debate back. This is really what's going on. John, welcome, sir.
Hi, Matt. It's great to talk to you. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Hey, you have got your finger on the pulse. Everything you said is spot on. That's how we are as Americans. And the Saul Alinsky tactics, they reversed it. They reversed it by using the emotion, and I feel strongly that what can get the word out with the radio and all the electronic media, to speak of today, computer and whatnot, is infomercials. We have to get people to show exactly what you're saying, a face up there and a little bit of a video behind it as they're talking, to show the change and show the young people what your future is going to be, how it was, how it was getting better, and how they changed it, and what they're going to do with these emotional promises, just like you said. That is the key.
You're absolutely right, John. I mean, why do you think Hollywood was infiltrated by the communists, in the 40s and 50s? You're sounding like McCarthy. No. There's a reason why Hollywood lists to the left these days. There's a very specific reason, and it's because they knew the power of propaganda. They knew how powerful propaganda is, whether it was in the theater, whether it was in music, whether it was even in literature. They knew the power of that. And that's why you saw Hollywood becoming so left 50 years ago, half a century ago, and why it still is so far to the left today, because the power of propaganda. And to expand upon what caller John just said, yeah, today we need to take that back, not Hollywood. I mean, that's somewhat of a lost cause. But you as an individual, if you have a cell phone, look at it right now. Most likely it has a camera. Most likely you are able to not only take photographs with it, but you're able to take videos of it. And guess what? There's this big website called YouTube where you can upload unlimited amount of videos saying whatever you want. Well, within community guidelines, but you get the point. You are the new media. And on that, I need to go to break. More on this when we come back.
This is the Clarkcast with Matt Clark.
Deep Drill & Machine can handle your drilling needs. Working with a wide variety of metals, Deep Drill & Machine has the experience with newly developed materials as well, with large handling capabilities and the expertise to get the job done. Feed screws, spindles, and cooling plates are just some of the products they drill, with the ability to drill diameters ranging from 1/8 of an inch up to 4.5 inches. Their facility is over 7,000 square feet, set up to effectively handle and produce the results their customers require. From automotive to forging, tool and die to machine repair, Deep Drill & Machine services many industries, and they can service yours. For more information, visit them online at www.deepdrillmachine.com or call them at 313-295-3357. That's 313-295-3357. 313-295-3357. And again, online at www.deepdrillmachine.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Does your business's website stand out? Does it catch an eye or two? At Waypoint Arts, we design and develop each project from scratch with an original and unique flair. If you're looking for a web design service that specializes in delivering the wow effect to your guests, then let us get started on your project today. Need a design for a poster or flyer? We can help. Visit us online at waypointarts.com or drop us a line at 855-WAY-ARTS.
This is the Clarkcast with Matt Clark. Call Matt now, 734-822-1600, 734-822-1600.
See, this is just not practical. There's no way I can celebrate Michelle Obama's birthday with the 50 ways to celebrate Michelle Obama's birthday, according to ABC, by doing number 22. Take a jog on the White House lawn. I can't do that. I'll be shot. It also recommends number 20, shop at Target. I really don't want to have my personal information given to Target at this time. It's just me. It's just me. It's my right as a consumer in the free market to shop where I want, and Target is really not one of the places I really want to shop right now. Welcome back to it. My name is Matt Clark, special live edition of the Clarkcast radio program. Welcome back to it. Hit me up behind the scenes, Matt with 2 T's at clarkcast.com. Of course, my website is www.clarkcast.com. Only a few moments to the very end of the broadcast here. So much I did not get into. I've been asking the question, and I just got a lot of callers. Thank you very much for calling in. I love listener engagement. I really, really do. Please send me emails, call me, whatever. I love hearing from you folks, so please keep it up. But what is wrong with America? If you had to boil it down to just a phrase or two. And every time I said that, coming back from break, I also threw in there, you cannot say Obamacare. You cannot say Obamacare is what's wrong with America. You cannot say that. You can't say any one particular issue is what's wrong with America. They can be part of it. It can be, part of the bigger umbrella that I'm looking for. The war on poverty, which was, I do believe, caller John brought that up. Yeah, trillions of dollars for a war on poverty. How's that going? Yeah. What is wrong with America? I think it just comes down to society, just individuals, you, me. I'm not saying you're what's wrong with America, and I'm sure some people would say I am what's wrong with America, but, I keep going back to the opening a door, receiving a thank you, or just a simple greeting of how are you? Good evening, sir. How are you doing today? It seems like, I'm not going to say that's lost. I don't think it's completely lost because you do see some pockets of that. You do see some instances, some cases, and it still happens. People are still people. But you're seeing less of that. And that's a problem. And that's just one example. Again, talking about things under the big umbrella of the question, what's wrong with America? What else can we do? It really starts going back to, you have to think locally. And I'm not doing the think globally, act locally. No. It starts in your own community. It really, really does. And you will be mocked. You will be laughed at. Last week, I played audio of Peter DeFazio. This guy is a nut job out of Oregon. And he had this to say right after the Ted Cruz shutdown. I'm using air quotes on that.
Shutting down the government, pretty radical. But we are really dealing here with, for short, Cruzites, or I guess I would call them, they're sort of anarchist, radical libertarians who don't believe in government. They don't believe in evolution. They believe in devolution. Devolve all the duties to the states. Dissolve the union,
essentially. Dissolve the union. Throw everything back to the states. They are anarchists, libertarian radicals. Well, I would throw myself into that category. The only thing that I disagree with this little rant is nobody's saying dissolve the union. Nobody's saying that we need to throw everything back to the states, although a good majority of it, anything that isn't listed in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. But that's really where a lot of this goes. I mean, where a lot of this mindset of mine is going is, where do we want our country to go? How do we save the republic? Following the Constitution, I think we're getting warmer with that response. Pretty close to red hot in terms of, taking a little bit of a vital sign of where are we at with the answer to how do we save the republic? Following the Constitution is part of it, but I think it also goes back to the morals of society. Opening doors for people. I know I keep saying that, but it just pisses me off when I open a door for somebody and they don't at least say thank you. I'm not begging for a thank you, but it comes down to being human. I mean, come on, man. So just do me a favor. If you open a door for somebody, just do it without expecting a thank you. And on the flip side, if you have somebody open a door for you, please say thank you. Or at least at the very minimum, a smile, a nod, something like that. Do you have anything else to say? Email me, matt@clarkcast.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to this live edition of the Clarkcast radio program. Check out my website, www.clarkcast.com. As always, I'll catch you next week.
This is the Clarkcast with Matt Clark.
So what is the best way to get your message out? To make your business known? Well, that's easy. It's advertising on radio programs like the Clarkcast. See, unlike music stations, talk radio demands awareness and thought. You don't believe me? You're listening to me right now. You're thinking about this message right now. And our listeners, they pay attention, not only to the programming, but to the advertisements that air throughout the show. If you want to build your business's presence not only to Southeast Michigan, but also online around the world, consider advertising on the Clarkcast and this radio station. There are several packages available, and there's one to suit your budgetary needs. So what do you say? Let's get started. Drop us an email, and we'll discuss the best way to get your message across on WAAM, on the Clarkcast, and online. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple to do. All you got to do is email advertise@clarkcast.com. That's advertise@clarkcast.com.